welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to read for 24 hours. Instead of reading for 24 hours straight, we're gonna see if I can read 24 hours in 2 days. And if not, we'll just see how long it takes me to read 24 hours. That is the plan for this video. I'm gonna start by reading Stardust by Neil Gaiman. This is on my list of must-reads for this year. We're just gonna get started. I'll keep you updated. Been reading for about an hour now. I've read the first 2 chapters of Stardust and I am liking it a lot. Here's what I like. I've talked before about how I like Neil Gaiman's writing style, how it just kind of feels magical, a little bit whimsical. Something that I particularly really like about Stardust so far is that, so our main character in Stardust is Tristan. First chapter of Stardust is about Tristan's father meeting his mother. They meet at this magical fairy market. When I first started reading the book and it was about Tristan's dad, I was like, is this really necessary? But then within just a couple of pages, we get to the fairy market. We get to like this whole like magical scene. It was really good. I'm really glad that that's how this book started, and I'm excited to keep reading it. George needs a walk now, so we're gonna go for a walk now, and I will continue reading afterwards. Bye. I have been reading for just over 3 hours today, but it's a lot more than I usually read in a day, and I'm gonna do some more reading right now. I made a mistake. In the movie, the main character's name is Tristan. In the book, it's Tristran. I'm gonna keep calling him a Tristan because and he goes to this magical fairy world because he's supposed to find a fallen star and bring it back for this girl so that she will marry him. But something that I noticed as I was reading this, it's quite different from the movie. At least Tristan's journey is quite different, which has been kind of fun. The writing is it's descriptive just enough that I can see the movie playing in my head, but it's not so descriptive. It takes away from the story, takes away from the action. Now I'm gonna get back to reading. Good morning. It is day 2 of this reading for 24 hours challenge, and here is where I left off last night. 5 hours and 15 minutes. That's how much I was able to read yesterday. Today, I'm going to clean up around the house a little bit, listen to an audiobook. I'm going to be listening to You Are a Badass, which is one of those self-help, gives you some motivation to get up and do what you want to do kind of books. Since it's the new year, I figured it would be a good time to read a book such as You're a Badass. So that's what I'm going to be listening to as I clean up this kitchen of mine. So that's the plan for today. I just realized I never told you I finished Stardust last night. It was great. I had a fun time. In this book, you're following 3 different people or 3 different groups of people who are trying to find this fallen star. The main character is Tristran, who's trying to find the fallen star for true love. Then we have 2 other people or groups of people. We have some witches who want to find the fallen star so that they can be young forever. There's some princes who are competing for the throne, and they need to find the fallen star first in order to get the throne, right? For the witches and the princes, their story is pretty much the same in the book and in the movie. However, Tristran's story is quite different. In the book, his journey is a little bit less intense. How do I feel about that? I actually kind of liked it. I kind of liked that it wasn't quite so intense and crazy. I don't know, I just felt like I could appreciate this magical world of fairy a little bit more. I'm done cleaning. Listened to You Are a Badass for a little bit over an hour, an hour and 20 minutes. I'm gonna get back to reading a book. And that book that I am reading is What the River Knows. It's a historical, magical realism kind of book that takes place in Egypt. And that's all I really know about it, but I'm excited and I think it will be fun, and that's what matters. It is a couple hours later. Let me show you where we're at time-wise. I've read the first 2 chapters. I'm liking the premise a lot. Like I said before, this is a magical realism story, so there's magic in this book. there are these magical items that just have like a little hint of magic to them. But basically, the magic is like an ancient magic that was believed in and practiced by ancient peoples, right? So I kind of like the way that like magic is in this book. It's kind of vague, it's kind of loose, and that's the kind of magic I want in a book like this. In a fantasy world, it might be nice to have some more rules to it, but like this is supposed to be taking place in basically our world, but slightly more magical. There's a little bit of magic. I like that. Her parents have disappeared, presumed dead, but maybe are still alive somewhere, lost in the deserts of Egypt. And so she wants to go and figure out what's going on because like maybe her parents aren't actually dead, and that would be kind of nice. I don't feel too connected with the main character at all. Like as a person, and so I want to like get to know her better. I'm gonna spend the rest of the afternoon reading until my husband Matt gets home. So I'm gonna get another like three and a half hours of reading in now. Can you just appreciate how cute George is? It's now Thursday. I am back at work. This morning has been kind of chaotic. There was like a leak behind our kitchen wall, and so we had to have like building maintenance come. And so I've had people coming in and out of my house trying to figure out what's going on with the pipes in our walls all morning. And also it's my first day back at work after the holiday break. So like this morning has just been kind of crazy. Now we're here. Now things are calming down. I have a plan for work for the rest of the afternoon. I listened to my audiobook this afternoon, and something I just wanted to mention about You're a Badass. Last week I listened to The Alchemist, which is another good New Year's read. The themes are very similar, like follow your dreams, follow your purpose. Now I'm reading You're a Badass, and it's talking about your purpose, and the universe is gonna like work with you to help you achieve your purpose. It's just interesting hearing this message, but in like a self-help, like nonfiction way, rather than in this like fictional story. And I've just been sitting here thinking like, which do I like better? I don't know which I like better. It's something I've been thinking about as I've been listening to this book, but I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to actually start listening to this book. I'm going to take George for a walk. I'm going to come back. I'm going to continue listening to my book. We will talk more later. It is quite a bit later. I just worked out, so now I'm out of breath, but it is time to read some more. I'm going to get back to What the River Knows. I read for just a few minutes as soon as I finished my work for the day, and now I want to read some more. I want to give you an update because I realized I haven't given you an update since chapter 2, and I'm now on like chapter 16. I'm liking it a lot. I've gotten to know the main character a little bit more, but I feel like she's kind of the like loner, I'm not like other girls girl. I'm not sure I love that character type / trope. I like her more than I did at the beginning. There's a romantic interest, and I quite like the banter between our main character Inez and the romantic interest, whose name is Whitford Hayes is his name. I like them together a lot. Now maybe it's just because I watched the most recent Cinema Therapy episode, which is all about Indiana Jones and his relationship with his father, but I'm getting very similar child-parent relationship feelings from this girl. You know, her parents have kind of prioritized their exploring in Egypt over being with their daughter. They've disappeared somewhere in the Egyptian desert. They're probably dead. So far, her emotions about her parents dying are very straightforward, very like, oh, I'm sad they're dead now. It would just be interesting to see her get kind of a little bit angry about how little she was able to see them, about how they never brought her here. I'd like to see a little bit more anger because I feel like that would just make her a little bit more interesting. I'm not too hopeful, but I would like to see that happen. Just add a little bit more complexity because like grief is complex, and I feel like this is just a little too straightforward, and therefore it's making her character a little bit flat to me personally. Those are my thoughts on this book so far. I am really enjoying the story, so I'm gonna read it some more now. Here's where I'm at. It is Friday, afternoon. I'm on my lunch break. I just finished listening to You Are a Badass, and I have now been reading for 17 hours. This book, like I said, it's like self-help, chase after your dreams kind of book, which is great for the new year. This book really focuses on like the law of attraction kind of stuff, the kind of like the universe will help you. It's not a concrete science, and I think the logical part of my brain, the INTJ part of my brain, is like, how can this be real? If I don't know how it works or why it works, how can it possibly be real? But I feel like it does work. Those are all my thoughts. And now, because I still have a few minutes left of my lunch break, I am going to continue reading What the River Knows. I'm still liking the romance between Inez and Wit is getting... Ooh! Since it's Friday, I only have to work until 3. It is 3 o'clock now, and so that's how George feels about that. I'm gonna spend the next couple of hours reading, and we're gonna see if I can get up to, like 20 hours? Okay, what the frick just happened? Didn't tell you this, but last night when I finished reading, when I closed my book, something big had just happened in the book. And I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm not going to tell you what happened, just that something big happened. Now something else really big has happened that's related to the big thing that happened last night. And last night, if you had told me that this was going to happen, I would have been like, no way. No, that's not happening. You're lying to me. But then like today, when I was reading during my lunch break, I don't know, by the end of my lunch break, I was like, wait, something feels off. This can't be good. It's supposed to be good, but it can't be good. And now my suspicions have been confirmed. The big good thing that happened last night isn't actually that good. Am I mad that it wasn't good? Yes, but also I'm kind of like, why did that happen at all, period? I don't know, I'm gonna keep reading. We're gonna find out, but like, that's where I'm at right now. Things are getting crazy here, and I'm gonna read. Holy cow. Holy cow. This book just has it all going on, you know? This book, I really liked it. I like the balance of all of the different, like the adventure, the like Indiana Jones aspect of it. There's also like romance in it, which I really liked. I like romance best when there is something else to kind of balance it out. So this book is a good representation of that. You've got characters who are like, hell yeah, we're gonna go raid these tombs and then sell all this stuff. Woo! And then you've got other characters who are like, no, this like means something to the Egyptians. We need to respect this. Like, let's find it. Let's like record what's here and share it with the people. So I thought that was an interesting conversation to include in this book. And the twists, like I said, there's some twisting back and forth. There's some plot twist. Woo! Makes for a fun time. The ending of this book, like the last chapter, loved it. Woo! I was on a high. And then there's the epilogue, and it completely ruined me. So that's a plot twist I'm not too happy about. But at least they aren't going to leave it at that. There is a second book coming out in November, so you better believe I'm going to be reading that as soon as it comes out, because this was so good. Hello, it is much later. I am going to do some reading now. Unfortunately, my timer stopwatch thing reset. I just remember it was a little bit over 21 hours. So I'm just going to set a timer for 3 hours. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to read. Earlier, I was considering just stopping where we're at, because I feel like finishing 3 books is really like a nice round number. I'm finishing 3 books. We can call it good. I got close to 24 hours. We can call it good. And then I was like, no, I'm going to do this. Then I also remembered that I started reading The Princess Bride like 2 months ago. And then I stopped halfway through. I think if I just sit down and read for the last 3 hours of this little challenge, I can finish this book. And then we can say I read 4 books in 24 hours.
True love is the greatest thing in the world, except for nice MLD.
Marriage is what brings us together today.
Hello! My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Stop saying that!
It is now the next day. I have done it. I read for 24 hours. It has now been a week since I started this little challenge. I read 5 out of the last 7 days. So if you do the math, 4.8 hours a day is about how much I was reading. That's a lot more than I usually read in a week. Speaking of reading more in a week than I have, I also was able to finish 4 books. The last book I finished last night was Princess Bride, which, like I said, I started before this challenge started. The reason I stopped reading it was because I'd gotten to a point in the book where it felt like it was an exact copy the movie. It just got to the point where I was like, you know what, if I really wanted this, I'd just watch the movie. So I finished it last night, and here's what I have to say about it. It is very similar to the movie. Very, very similar to the movie. The places where this book is different from the movie, adds a little bit more, is you get backstories for Fezzik and Inigo, which I really liked. I liked getting to know those characters more. And also they have a little bit more to do in the book than they do in the movie, which was nice. I liked that. The other difference is that this book, written as if it were an abridgment of another longer existing book. Man, this guy is taking this whole, like, this is an abridged book, I am abridging this book, a little bit too seriously. It's just, I was not reading it for that. I was not reading The Princess Bride for all of these pages and pages of him commenting on the fake history of this fake author from this fake country who wrote this fake book. And it's like, dude, we know, stop. Like I said, I think it's an interesting concept. In theory, it's interesting, but I was reading it for the fairy tale, for the adventure, for the love story. And so whenever these tangents came along, I was just rolling my eyes and like, okay, when is this tangent going to be over already? Speaking of fairy tale romances, let's recap the other 2 books. First was Stardust. I really liked it. What the River Knows, that one was like more of an Indiana Jones adventure, archaeology, ancient Egypt, adventure, romance. Liked that one a lot too. I think that one would be my favorite of all the books I read. That has been my 24-hour reading challenge. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for watching it all the way through. Thank you for listening to me ramble about books, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.